Triple H finally announces what everyone has been waiting for about John Cena's WWE future. After his emotional retirement match against Gunther, the WWE Chief Content Officer reveals how Cena will still stay involved through a major new tournament called the John Cena Classic. Keep watching for the shocking twist involving current champions and Cena's new authority over the roster. John Cena first dropped the bomb at Money in the Bank in Toronto in July 2024. He was done. His in-ring career was ending. He'd wrestle one final lap around the world and then hang up the boots for good. That retirement tour officially kicked off on the Raw premiere on Netflix on January 6, 2025, covering 36 dates across the calendar year. But for all the emotion and spectacle of those early stops, one question hung over everything: where and when was the last dance? Then, Triple H answered it. On September 30, 2025, WWE announced that John Cena's final match would headline Saturday night's main event at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. John's contributions to WWE are immeasurable. There are no words that can truly relay how much he means to this business, said Triple H in the official announcement. It wasn't just a date on a calendar, it was the end of an era with a venue, a city, and a weight to it that fans felt immediately. Following a year-long farewell tour with stops at WrestleMania 41 and SummerSlam, Cena would bring his decorated career, built on 17 World Championships, 5 U.S. title reigns, and 2 Royal Rumble victories, to a close live from the nation's capital. But the opponent, that was still a mystery, and Triple H had a plan for that too. Cena's last opponent would be decided through a tournament called The Last Time Is Now. The tournament was held specifically to determine who would face Cena in his retirement match. It began on the November 10 episode of Raw in Cena's hometown of Boston, Massachusetts. 16 names, 1 spot. The biggest retirement match of the modern era on the line. Now, here's what made this announcement even more charged. Cena had already broken the locker room's unwritten rules. To get his opponent at Crown Jewel, Cena had broken his own WWE rule and told Triple H who he wanted to face on his retirement tour. He called out Triple H directly to listen to the WWE Universe, which prompted the Chief Content Officer to make the AJ Styles match at Crown Jewel, Perth in Australia official. Styles was one of Cena's greatest rivals, but had seemingly not been part of the original slate of opponents, earmarked for the farewell tour. So by the time Triple H made the final announcement, the whole tour had become this layered conversation between Cena, Triple H, and the fans. Every single booking decision was being dissected in real time. Speaking at a Q&A panel in Liverpool, Cena admitted he hadn't fully considered the various perspectives the WWE Universe had shared about his retirement tour, and promised to reflect on the whole run on December 14th, the day after it was all done. One day after his final match, that's where his mind was. And Triple H was orchestrating every step of the road that led there. Before we get to that final night in Washington, you need to understand what led there, because the retirement tour wasn't a clean, triumphant march to the finish line. It was messy, it was divisive, and it had a twist that nobody saw coming. Triple H had confirmed early on that Cena's final year would be an all-in run. Cena would work several events, including live non-televised shows, and wrestle often. But the booking decisions drew fire almost immediately. Some fans were frustrated that the tour didn't cover many of Cena's iconic rivals from his past. Cena's retirement tour saw him turn heel for the first time, in shock fashion. But the turn failed to fully capitalize, partly due to the absence of The Rock and Travis Scott from the storyline. And Cena eventually reverted to his usual persona, a heel turn, after 2 decades of being the face of WWE, after millions of Never Give Up t-shirts, after being the guy kids looked up to more than any other superstar on the roster. Cena went dark, and it didn't land the way anyone hoped. At WrestleMania 41 in April, Cena won the undisputed WWE Championship for a record 14th time, becoming the 8th heel to win a WrestleMania main event. He held the title until SummerSlam. 17 World Championships, a number that no one else in WWE history had touched. And then, on the way down the stretch, Cena picked up the one belt that had somehow eluded him his entire career. On the November 10 episode of Raw in Boston, Cena defeated Dominic Mysterio to win the WWE Intercontinental Championship, for the first time completing the Triple Crown and Grand Slam before losing it back to Mysterio at Survivor Series War Games. So by the time the Last Time Is Now tournament was drawing to a close, Cena had done everything in that final year. He'd been a villain. He'd been a champion. He'd won championships nobody expected him to win, and he'd laid down his losses to put the next generation over. He put over Cody Rhodes in the main event of SummerSlam, worked 3 of his remaining dates with Dominic Mysterio, and then squared off with Gunther in the career-closing contest. The trajectory was clear. He wasn't going out with one hand raised. He was going out on his shield. So who was going to end John Cena's career? The 16-man Last Time Is Now tournament had names from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and even outside WWE. Names like Chris Jericho, Edge, Gunther, Dominic Mysterio, and Joe Hendry were all floating around as possible final opponents. The pool was deep and the speculation was everywhere. But Gunther was the name that kept rising to the top. Various teases from WWE and Cena himself had suggested Gunther could be the most likely option, and the ring general had a built-in motivation that nobody else in the tournament could match. He'd just retired Goldberg months earlier. He was literally building a legacy out of ending careers. In the first round, Gunther took down NXT's Javon Evans, then got the better of Carmelo Hayes in the quarterfinals, before eliminating Solo Sikoa in the semifinals. Methodical, dominant, exactly what you'd expect from someone with that much pressure riding on him. The final came down to Gunther and LA Knight. Gunther defeated LA Knight in the finals on that Friday night SmackDown, meaning Gunther would face John Cena in the final match of Cena's career. Gunther made LA Knight tap out with a cravate, a move that looks eerily like Cena's own STF, and then stared directly into the camera with a message for Cena. You will finally and definitely give up. You're gonna tap out. Now there's another layer here that most people glossed over. Cena had actually revealed that he shut down Triple H's plans for his final match. The 48-year-old confirmed there was at least one pitch Triple H brought to him for his retirement match that he refused to sign off on. The details were never fully disclosed, but the fact that Cena had that kind of creative input enough to reject Triple H's idea and push his own vision tells you everything about what this final chapter meant to him. Typically, a wrestler ends their career with a match against one of their former foes as a nod to the body of work they put in. This wasn't nostalgia, this was succession. And Triple H booed as he walked to that ring, had built the whole thing around that idea. Saturday night's main event XLII, also promoted as Saturday night's main event, John Cena's final match, was live-streamed on Peacock in the United States and YouTube internationally. Before the match even started, the emotion was already spilling over. Cena walked around the ringside area and embraced several current and former wrestlers in attendance, including Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Trish Stratus, and TNA star Elijah. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson paid tribute to Cena ahead of his final match. Then the bell rang. Cena's final match ended with him tapping out to Gunther after a brutal, violent, touching, nearly 24-minute contest that would have defied the history of the industry. It wasn't a squash. It wasn't a coronation for Gunther at Cena's expense. It was a genuine war. Cena hit the 5-knuckle shuffle on Gunther. He went for the attitude adjustment. Gunther escaped and briefly locked in a sleeper hold. Cena escaped that and locked in the STFU back and forth, the crowd losing their minds every time it swung either way. Gunther continued his onslaught with a series of clotheslines, as fans ironically chanted Super Cena to rally him. Cena hit a second 5-knuckle shuffle, and this time connected with the AA for a near fall. The idea that maybe, just maybe, he'd pull one last miracle out. With the crowd passionately rooting for one last great Cena comeback, he battled his way out of Gunther's trademark sleeper on several occasions, before finally succumbing to it. In the closing moments, Gunther repeatedly applied the sleeper hold on Cena, who repeatedly escaped. But eventually, Cena tapped out, officially marking the end of his in-ring professional wrestling career. John Cena tapped out for the first time in over 20 years. The 17-time world champion passed the torch to Gunther as one of the next faces of the company. And then came the aftermath. After Gunther left the ring, Cena sat in the center of the ring soaking it all in. He got to his knees, kissed the ring, and fans chanted, "Thank you, Cena." He turned toward the entrance ramp and was met by CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, a slew of legends, WWE executives, and eventually the whole locker room. Some of the legends who emerged included The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Rob Van Dam, Michelle McCool, Eve Torres, Trish Stratus, Mark Henry, and Kurt Angle. Undisputed champion Cody Rhodes and CM Punk then presented Cena with both of their championship belts for him to lift as a gesture to the crowd. He tapped out to Gunther's sleeper hold, then left his sweatbands and sneakers in the middle of the ring and rode off into the sunset. 26 years, 17 world championships, one last tap. The match itself, near universal praise. The aftermath, complicated. After the main event, many fans booed and insulted WWE creative head Triple H when he appeared in the ring, as well as during his post-show interview. The chief content officer was loudly booed as he walked down to the ring, and the jeers continued when he spoke on the post-show. The frustration had been building throughout the tour. The heel turn that went nowhere, the booking decisions that left fans wanting more. And in the biggest moment of the night, after Cena had poured everything out on that canvas, the crowd directed all of it at Triple H. The debate over the ending specifically ran deep. Vince Russo argued that Cena should not have tapped out, as the submission finish went against the never give up mantra that inspired so many Make-A-Wish kids. Russo's point hit a nerve. Here's a man who had built an entire brand identity around refusing to quit, and his final act in professional wrestling was quitting. Ariel Helwani was direct, stating that John Cena deserved better, but others pushed back. Brent Brookhouse of CBS Sports gave the main event an A grade, stating that Gunther is a man who can put on a great match with anyone, and that Cena did the right thing by not only losing, but tapping out to give Gunther that credibility. Roger Clark, best known for playing Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2, said, "I know some of you disagree, but John Cena's last match was one of the most poetic things I've ever seen in the WWE. Time waits for no one, but he controlled his goodbye." Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated the main event between Cena and Gunther 5 stars out of 5, the highest of the event. While the submission loss was debated in the days and weeks after, it aligned with what Cena had repeatedly expressed was important to him: giving the next generation of superstars the spotlight. According to Sean Ross Sapp, the WWE locker room itself was divided about the ending of the match. That division wasn't just fan noise. It was people who work in that business and who weren't all on the same page about it. Then, Gunther took his tour on the road. He opened the next episode of Raw, was met with torrid boos and hostile chants, and proceeded to gloat about making John Cena give up, tapping out like a little bitch, before being dismissed by Raw general manager Adam Pearce. The bigger question, at least moving forward, was whether Triple H and his creative team could capitalize on the incredible match and moment Cena provided with the Ring General's win. They may already have their answer. As Gunther departed the arena and made his way to his car, he came face to face with AJ Styles, who plans to retire from in-ring competition in 2026. They locked eyes in an intense exchange, and before driving off, Gunther taunted Styles with Cena's signature "you can't see me" hand gesture. The message was unmistakable. As for Cena himself, a few days before the event, it was revealed that Cena had signed a 5-year extension to remain with WWE as a brand ambassador. Following his retirement from in-ring competition, he wasn't gone, just done wrestling. And then, at WWE Backlash 2026, he showed back up. The show featured a segment with Cena, teased as history-making news for the WWE Universe. It turned out to be the announcement of a new event, loosely based on the December Saturday night's main event special, in which NXT upstarts collide with their main roster counterparts. The event will be called the John Cena Classic, with the winner determined by some kind of public vote. Cena implied a structured contest, but deliberately stopped short of calling it a tournament. Unlike the King of the Ring tournament, the John Cena Classic winner will be determined by fan voting. And as Cena noted at Backlash, competitors could potentially lose their tournament match and still be voted as the champion. I have said time and time again, the biggest superstar in the WWE is the WWE Universe, Cena told the crowd. Your voice will be heard louder than ever before. At MegaCon Orlando 2026, Cena revealed that he thought he'd cracked the code regarding what his new role in the company would be. He said he was working to figure out his next path as a contributing member of WWE, and that if the stars aligned, he would be a whole lot more integrated in the system going forward. So Triple H's announcement last September wasn't just the beginning of the end. It was the beginning of whatever comes next. The match is done, the retirement is real, but Cena isn't disappearing. He's just changing what he does inside that universe he helped build. Cena leaves WWE in a better place, partially evidenced by the entire card that night, which ceded the spotlight to showcase young NXT talent on what could have easily been a 2-hour appreciation show strictly for the man himself. That's the real legacy of Triple H's announcement. Not just that Cena got his final match, but that the whole thing was designed to leave the door wider open for everyone